Wait for it. Wait for it, and we're live. Hey, all you crazy sci-fi and fantasy fans. It's time for your daily dose of shenanigans over here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. Just a couple of nerdy veterans, a Stabby chaos coordinator, and one chief shenanigator geeking out over our science fiction passions and fantastical fantasies. A place where magic is king, the sky is the limit, and space is the place. We are the podcast that puts the fun in dysfunction. So without further ado, we're going to let our guests introduce themselves, starting with the one, the only, the returning guest, Mr. Bill McCushton.
Yeah, I'm Bill McCushton. I write the Zorn serial over on Substack, and I finally had an excuse to watch the movie that is either infamous or famous for its animation, depending on who you ask.
And
before.
I figured out the trick with your last name. If you put enough emphasis on the U and then just make noises, they can't tell if I mispronounce the rest of it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, next we have first-time guest, Mr. Vincent C. Pigeon.
Hello there, everyone. I'm Vincent C. Pigeon, author of the epic fantasy, Dreamweaver Legacy.
Okay. You want to tell us a bit about yourself besides that? I mean, do you like, I don't know, long walks on the beach, short walks on the pier? I don't know. What's that?
Sweet tea.
This is true. I mean, it's got to be sweet enough that Wilford Brimley comes out of his grave and slaps you on the face and tells you, diabetes. This is the way.
I'm a goblin for sweet tea.
And you got to have the table wine. Okay. Do you put lemon in it or no?
Yep.
All right. That is the way. Lemon is verboten. Okay. All right. This is the Blasters and Blades podcast, so we can't let you get started, Bill, Vincent, without the religion question. Are you guys ready for this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Have you guys been sledding before? Bill?
No, I have never gone sledding before.
Wait, you live up in the frozen wastes of the north.
I do, but you see, you fail to consider I was an indoor kid who had no friends growing up. I say no friends. I had like 2 friends growing up and never went sledding. I have, however, gone snowmobiling with my dad before, and that we actually did do here in Wyoming when he still had his snowmobiles. That was fun. And
okay.
I did one time take a turn incorrectly and end up with the snowmobile on my leg.
Ooh, did that hurt? I'm assuming it hurt.
No, the snow was deep enough. It basically just indented the snow. It was like a Bugs Bunny cartoon, pretty much.
Nice, Club.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about you, Vincent? I know you said you're from South Carolina. I mean, you got sand. That's almost like snow, right? You can go sledding on the sand. I don't know.
Outside? What's outside, precious? What's outside?
That's his goblin voice, I guess.
Well, down in the south, where I'm from, you find a big grassy hill, get a piece of cardboard, and hang on for dear life, and hope you don't fall in the water with the gator.
Okay, so I have been sledding. I was a Navy brat, so I lived up north for a while. And I have vivid memories of being told it was time to go, and we stopped to watch one of the guys we were with in the group go one more time, and he hit the bump just right, and he fell, and he broke his leg. And as the ambulance is carrying him away, he's like asking the medic if he could go one more time before the snow melted with his broken leg. And I just remember thinking that dude was bonkers. But so I have been sledding before, skiing too, up in the Massanutten Mountains. Wintergreen is the ski resort up here in Virginia. Have you guys been skiing before?
Skiing in the south?
You got water skiing though.
We have gator skiing.
All right, Bill, have you been snow skiing?
Nope.
Man, you guys aren't very wintry.
Winter is the time to stay inside and read books.
All right.
Like
That's a good
you, I was an inside brat.
Would you rather have a snowball fight or build a snowman? Bill.
Snowball fight. Yes, it's for the violence.
I'm with you. You build the fort, right, to protect yourself, and then the snowball fight. What about you, Vincent?
Did that include the rocks?
We'll allow it.
You
Of course,
just in the South.
every time someone says, "Would you want?" asks about building snowman, you hear that in song. So that's just not the right answer anymore. Disney ruined it.
Down the hill, someone called at 4 o'clock in the morning, going snow, snow, and you only one plug outside.
And the world shut down, I'm sure. All right.
You won't close it down.
What is the most memorable gift you have ever received, Bill?
So just in general, not just isolated to Christmas?
Christmas gift, yes.
Oh. Well, if it's a Christmas gift, I can't really think of anything.
Okay. Lie to us and tell us whatever you were going to say was a Christmas gift.
It wasn't a Christmas gift. It was a birthday gift.
Pretend. You're an author. You lie to it for a living.
Okay. So you can actually see it right now on my camera. If I can figure out, because this keeps screwing with me. That right there. The Lord Slug action figure over by my Dragon Ball mangas is the most memorable thing I have ever gotten. I actually had a relative who worked at Funimation doing the English dub for Dragon Ball, along with some of the other shows that they brought over stateside. And he knew that Lord Slug was, in my opinion, the absolute coolest. And so he just got me the action figure, and I have kept it ever since then. I think, I can't even remember how old I was when I got it, but yeah, I've held on to that thing for years.
Did you see the news Amazon just released about the dubbing of certain anime and such? So
where they were using AI or whatever?
Yeah, and it was so bad that they walked it back.
Mm-hmm.
They had to walk it back because the AI dubbing was so bad that they're like, okay, we take it back. All right. What about you, Vincent? What is the most memorable Christmas gift you've ever received?
Well, the most memorable Christmas gift was two things: Lord of the Rings and Inuyasha, the anime.
Okay.
And yes, that my father was a big on Lord of the Rings, and he liked anime.
Inuyasha is a good one. I haven't seen a lot of anime, but I've seen that one.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, we know what Lord of the Rings is. I don't know. For me, my Grandpa Handley's the one who taught me to read, or loved to read, I should say. And he got me the complete works of William Shakespeare. But it's like the leather bound with the gold folio, and it looks real fancy. It's one of those ones that's so fancy, I'll never read it. It'll just sit there and look pretty on my bookshelf. I'll have to buy copies I can actually read for that, because it's too pretty to read, because I don't want to crease the pages.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got the hand sewn leather cover, and it's just purdy.
I have no qualms about opening up my purdy books.
But then they won't say purdy forever.
Purdy books? What purdy books? I just read, and then they fall apart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, Bill, I know you can sometimes be curmudgeonly, so I built this question around you. All right? Are you ready for this?
Not particularly, but let's go for it.
All right. What is the ultimate Christmas movie cliche that you either love or hate? I added that for you. That comes from the holiday season.
Well, seeing as how Christmas is one of the 3 holidays I actually know when they happen and actively participate in, I would say this is not one I hate, but one I absolutely love, and that is someone discovering the true meaning and the spirit of Christmas.
Okay.
That never gets old.
All right. What about you, Vincent?
Bah humbug.
I love me a good bah humbug too. I'm not opposed.
I'm more of a Halloween guy than a Christmas guy.
Okay, so what is it? The Corpse Bride Christmas, or what is it? That Christmas movie that's horror. Oh, I'm trying to think about it.
Nightmare Before
Nightmare
Christmas.
Before Christmas.
There we go. That's the one I was looking for.
The movie that is supposed to be watched on Christmas Eve.
I have not seen it on Christmas Eve, but I have seen it.
Halloween Eve as well.
For me, I love the cliche of estranged families reuniting. That does it for me. I really enjoy that, seeing that kind of thing. Dropkick Murphy has a pretty cool song with that theme about Christmas. If I can find it for you, dear listener, I'll link that in the show notes as well. It's Irish rock, if you're not familiar. All right, and because this is the Blasters and Blades podcast, we do have to ask this question. So, we are civilized human beings here at the Blasters and Blades podcast. We are no longer knuckle dragging troglodytes. So, coffee or tea? And how do you take it this frozen holiday season? Bill?
Hot chocolate, because it's nice and warm and toasty, but today I will be partaking in some Canada Dry ginger ale instead. Because I was just at my parents' house and I grabbed me some ginger ale while I was there.
You left your basement? I am impressed.
I left my basement years ago. This trailer doesn't have a basement. I tried to convince Circus to go for a place that did have a basement. He didn't want a place that had a basement. He just wanted he wanted a place that he could afford.
Priorities, but you know, it sounds cooler to say you're in a basement with that old 1980s style wood paneling behind you.
Oh, dude, for real.
Like,
and the best part is, like, the window to this room is like right here, so I could possibly just straight up lie to people and say this is a basement if I wanted, because there's no windows, and especially since the porch has an overhang over it, sunlight doesn't really get in here too good. So even if I have the camera on midday, it still looks like it's pretty dark.
So now this is officially your underground lair.
There you go.
With the swamp puppy.
So what about you, Vincent? What are you drinking this holiday season?
Sweet tea.
So sweet tea year round for you.
Yeah, sweet tea. So sweet it make you go blind.
So do you make it yourself, or do you get some of the store-made stuff?
Sometimes store made, and sometimes sun tea, and sometimes just drink it straight.
Can't go wrong with sun tea. Okay.
Yep.
I've been on a hot chocolate kick lately, just cause reasons. All right. Well, we're gonna pause for a moment. I know it's a little bit early, but we don't want to interrupt our discussion of the Polar Express with commercial nonsense. So we're gonna pause for a moment. Boy, we shamelessly show for the man. I know it's a little bit early, dear listener, but bear with us.
Ho, ho! Oh, hell. Is that sleigh bells ringing in your ears or a few rounds from an M60? You wanted the jolly fat man to bring Yuletide joy, but the season has gifted you with a heartbreaker and a life taker. Badass Santa. Grab your eggnog and camouflage candy canes. Strap on your bulletproof holiday stockings and prepare for thrills and kills. From blood-stained rebellion at the North Pole to a Black Ops raid on a distant planet, these 18 action-packed tales will show you Saint Nick as you have never seen him before. It's all you'll want for Christmas.
All right. Thank you for sticking with us through that early commercial interlude. So Sleigh Bells Ring is obviously out in audiobooks. We still have some free codes if you want to reach out for it on Spotify. But there is also the sequel for that is not on audiobook, but it is in the same Bayonet Books Anthology series collection. So if you go to Amazon, it's linked. But the Claws of War, Santa's Battle Chronicles is the next and most recent holiday shenanigans anthology that is out there for you to check out if you're up for it. And with that, let us talk about the show that brought us here. So we have the Polar Express, which is rated G. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis for a budget of between 165 and 170 million. I would say $5 million difference in reporting is one heck of a rounding error, but that is the range we were. That is the range we were given. It earned $318.2 million at box office in 2004 dollars. It had a runtime of 100 minutes. Aired in November 2004. Was put out by Warner Brothers Pictures. For ad copy, this holiday season, believe. All aboard for the ride of your life. A magical journey to the North Pole awaits. So those were three of the taglines you would see out on some of the ad copy. The ad copy for the Polar Express varied across promotional materials for marketing, but the marketing focused on groundbreaking motion capture animation. The fact that Tom Hanks played multiple voice acting roles because he was high on his success from some of the other stuff that had just come out. And the heartwarming story based on Chris Van Allsburg's book, also titled The Polar Express. And so that was the focus of the ads. TV spots and posters often described it as, quote, family adventure filled with holiday magic, targeting parents and kids for a Christmas season release. And then specific ad copy from sources like DB, and studio press kits aligned with themes emphasizing the belief in Christmas, adventure, and festive spirit. So it was hard to find just one example as far as ad copy goes, which is sometimes rare when it's a newer story or newer movie, because the newer ones you can generally find. But that is what we found. Do you think that the description did it justice, the taglines?
Yeah. Yes and no.
Go on.
Well, it was a bit. When I first watched the film, that was back in elementary school. It was a bit short for my taste. I like longer stories. My brother, who loves Christmas, he liked it, but me being more a Halloween guy, it did its job.
Okay. What about you, Bill?
Yeah, they're okay. I think, honestly, I don't know what trailer you have pulled up, but I do remember seeing trailers for this movie, and I still occasionally see a trailer for this movie because I have DVDs that I've had since I was a little kid still. And honestly, those were the ones that really piqued my interest more than description or anything like that. Mainly because at least the trailer I saw built a bit of a mystique around that beginning of the film when the train first shows up.
Okay. Well, then let's just dive right in, and we'll show the trailer, since I do have that pulled up.
On Christmas Eve many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound I was afraid I'd never hear. ride to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express. All aboard!
All right. So would that have made you want to watch it?
Yeah.
Like I said, it piqued my interest as a kid because it's literally just the opening narration. It's building up the atmosphere of Christmas. It was the night before Christmas, and even just seeing the kids step out into the snow and just seeing this train in the middle of his neighborhood that wasn't there before. It's like, all right, you got my attention.
Yeah, I thought it did a good job. It represented without giving away too much, but enough to get you interested.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have any complaints with the trailer as well. And that was one of the ones that came out at the time. I was able to find that, which, like I said, it's new enough that you're able to find the originals instead of remakes and stuff like we did when we did the Rudolph one. So that does help when you're analyzing it. I think it did a good job of setting the vibe, and of course, I don't know, there's something about Tom Hanks's voice that just sort of sets that mood, I think, really well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and part of it, I think, is just I guess what you could call the atmosphere around Tom Hanks, the vibe.
Yeah,
that's the word I was looking for. The vibe that Tom Hanks gives from other things people know him from, like Toy Story, even in Saving Private Ryan, he has this sort of,
he was a school teacher
air about him. Yeah, he was a school teacher, and yeah, he just has this aura that he's
got grandpa vibes that work for him.
He's got grandpa and dad vibes.
Yeah.
Gravitas, charisma. Is that the word you're looking for?
Yeah, that works too. What about you, Vincent? What do you think of the trailer?
Well, I like the trailer, and I'll be more pulled towards the mystery of the train itself. Like, why is the train there? What it's for? And where is it going?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I liked the when you talk about the train that you had. On the one hand, it's a magical train, and they asked, and I'm drawing a blank on the girl that was the leader, the young African American girl character.
I can't remember her name.
Yeah, the only name I remember is Billy, the little poor kid.
There's Billy, the little poor kid, and Chris, the main character, is what I remember.
I didn't even remember the main character had a name.
Yeah, his name was Chris. And then there's
they go so long without saying anyone's name in this movie.
I remember one of the conductors with the long bill, and they yanking on the bill to get the caribou to move.
Oh, that poor SOB.
Yeah, he was kind of abused.
My whiskers.
As a bearded individual, I can appreciate his pain.
This is why I like to keep mine short.
So the boy in the book, he's simply referred to as the boy, or Hero Boy, is how he's referred. Fans sometimes call him Chris because the book is dedicated to somebody named Chris. In the movie, there's a lack of a specific name as well. So the credits refer to him as Chris. Again, it must go back to the attribution where the book was dedicated. Okay. I guess I was wrong. In prepping, because, I go to the Wikipedia page to get all the voice actors to give them credits in the hashtags where I'm doing the show notes. And they listed him as Chris. So, but
And I mean, that does sometimes happen. I mean, Ed Norton's character in Fight Club is never actually given a name, but a lot of people refer to him as Jack because of the ongoing "I'm Jack's blank" that he got from all those therapy sessions he sat in on.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does happen in some stories when the character's nameless.
Yeah,
Okay, so there's
in Fight Club.
What was that?
so the young black girl in the book is just referred to as Hero Girl. That's kind of okay.
Yeah.
They don't give her a name. Billy is the know-it-all kid who is the one who knew all about the trains. They're like, "Oh, it's a magic train, of course," and he goes, "No," and he starts like rattling off all the stats of the train and where it was made and when it was made and like how fast it could go. So,
And so they gave the annoying brat a name, not the leads.
so
Was the know-it-all Billy? Hold on, I have to console.
and then Chris or the hero boy, his little sister was Sarah. That I remember. Yeah, I don't remember the poor kid, but yeah, I like that they with the train that you had that one kid who knew everything about the train and he's like giving out all the stats and okay, so Billy is the poor kid.
Yeah, Billy is the poor kid. The know-it-all is literally just listed here on IMDb as the know-it-all.
See, I had it on Google and they listed both of them as Billy.
What I think is funny is that looking at the picture of Eddie Deason, who voiced know-it-all, he looks like the know-it-all grown up. He really does.
So he's playing
kind of funny
of himself. That's funny. But yeah, I like the characters because since we're there. The train was as much a character as the kids, but the kids almost felt kind of flat to the point where like they weren't even really necessarily given names, and we don't know names, and we're having to like Google it and dig it up. Some of that goes back to Chris Van Ellsberg's book that he didn't name them. But I think part of that's because the plot was so simple, because the whole point is believing. And then, the main character, we'll call him Chris for now because it's easier than calling him Hero Boy. Because I think Hero Boy, and I'm thinking Hero Brian in that old show from Minecraft that the kids used to watch. But Chris, like, he's starting to the point where he's not believing in Christmas anymore. And so it's really just the journey of him rediscovering the joy of Christmas. And so that's more the story than the people. It's the journey, which is an interesting take on a plot. But it made it harder to relate to some of the characters.
Not.
Go
Honestly,
ahead.
I would say I related to the characters enough. I've seen this kind of thing done before, where the characters are never given names. In what I dub the absolute worst book ever written, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, I don't know how to say his last name. His first name is Paulo. You should be able to find him through that. The Alchemist by Paulo. Worst book I have ever read. Characters are, in my opinion, abysmally done. And honestly, I'm just happy to see characters without names done in a decent way. Yeah, done well. Because, I mean, they still stand out. Like, you can still recognize them just based on personality and
yes,
voice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but me, I'm an epic fantasy writer, so I gotta name everybody.
You got to give a name to the extra whose name is never actually mentioned back in chapter 5 as they're going on to the big quest.
Yeah, I gotta name a rock. Name the squirrel.
Go ahead.
I'm not lying about the squirrel part.
Oh, jeez. Well, and I was going to just say, going back to what you said, this really is this is a story about, like, I guess you could say at its core, it's just a story about faith. Rediscovering that faith, or finding what you need to stay true to your faith, which I actually think is kind of nice. And honestly, I will say this movie falls into the same category I would put Superman or The Goonies, in that I'm not going to rush out and buy it for myself. But if I had kids, I would absolutely buy this for the kids.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay. So did you have a favorite character, Vincent?
In the movie, I would say the conductor with the long beard.
That poor guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't get paid enough.
Yeah, no, he did not.
Yeah. I carried the whole film. Mom, come on, whiskers.
Yeah, that was interesting take on physics when it comes to driving over that frozen lake. Yeah, I liked seeing the characters, the secondary characters, like the waiters that were doing their thing. I liked the train conductors, and then of course Tom Hanks' character, the conductor. I guess the ones that I've originally said the conductors would probably properly be the engineers, because they were the ones driving and fueling the tank, the train. Excuse me. So I was that.
Did you even get a name for the conductor?
In the on all the notes that I found, I looked at IMDb, I looked at the wiki, I looked at Google and Grok, and all of them just refer to him as the conductor. So no, not that I could tell. Okay, so did you have any favorite secondary characters, since obviously Chris or the hero boy is the main character?
I think I like the conductor a bit more than some of the main cast.
Okay. What about you, Bill?
So one of the two people that actually get a name in this movie, Scrooge, who was the
Jack in the Box, I think it was.
No, he was the hobo guy who was on top of the train.
I was thinking there was what was the one that was talking to him in the broken toy car? Wasn't that not a Scrooge looking thing?
I don't remember.
Hold on. Am I getting names mixed up? Hold on. Stand by. Oh, no. You're not getting names mixed up. I'm dumb and can't read a web page. Okay. No, that's what's going on. So, no, okay. I had that wrong. The hobo, yeah, Scrooge was...
The toy.
Scrooge was a toy, yeah.
Which was creepy, that scene. I remember thinking, even, as an adult when I watched it, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of creepy.
But no, the hobo was fascinating because it sort of adds to the enigma, and it becomes this sort of unanswered mystery, because you never really find out who he is, and it's implied that, I say implied, it's pretty much in your face near to the end that there's more to this guy than just...
He's a ghost of some sort.
Yeah, he's like a ghost or a spirit. If we're going back to the religion or faith analogy, I guess you could say he's the guardian angel.
And it's hinted at that he's the one that saves the conductor on his first year on the runs when he almost fell over.
Yeah. Spirit of faith.
What I thought was fascinating was where they decided to put emphasis on the minor details. So, like the poor kid, which Billy, he sits down in the dirty stuff, and his pajamas get dirty. The little girl is rolling around, and so is Chris in the coal car, and nary a smudge on him. It was
Yeah, I
just,
thought that was weird. And I'm
having worked with coal, because I charcoal grill. That is not a clean. You don't touch that and come away with nothing on you. So I just thought that was amusing where they decided to put those little details and what details that didn't matter.
Yeah, picking on the boy kid, yeah.
Where did you guys have like a favorite scene that spoke to you more than others? Bill?
honestly, I would say at the end there. I mean, we're following a kid who's losing his belief in Christmas and Santa. And by the end of the film, he's struggling to see Santa, but he's actually crying out, "I can't see him." But he's crying out in a way that's saying he's trying to, like actively trying to see Santa for once. And then, honestly, just that whole sequence, because then it builds. We've established earlier in the film that the whole reason this is happening, it's implied that everyone has an important year in their life, and that's when the train comes. At least that's the impression I got from the conductor's talks with Chris. And
not everyone chooses to get on it.
yeah, not everyone chooses to get on it. And in that whole sequence near the end there, Santa, out of everyone there, chooses the kid who is actively struggling with belief. And then it continues on, and he's like, okay, so what do you want? And you don't hear what Chris says, but he just whispers it into Santa's ear, and Santa just lights up and is like, all right. And he just gives him a bell off of the sleigh.
Because the bell is magic.
Yep. And only those who believe can hear it. And then, of course, it was sort of a, not sure what word I'd use to describe it, but I just love the final note there in the film where he's talking about it, and he says, as the years passed, my sister eventually stopped hearing the bell, and then so did my friends, but I never stopped hearing it. Even now when I ring it, I can hear it.
Yeah, my favorite scene is probably what I've been saying about the bill. Was that ending where he first rang the bell and his parents didn't hear it, you could hear it. The look on his face, so the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like the caribou scene just because it was amusing watching them like left, not right, and then he just gets weirder and weirder because like in a tense situation you don't want to make it unclear, but it was just comical the way that they're like trying to get across this frozen lake where the waters froze over the tracks, and now they're trying to just get through. So that was kind of my favorite scene. I really dug that one.
Yeah, I like that scene as well, but the ending with the bell was
what did you guys think of the world building? Do you think they did a pretty good job on that? I mean, it's basically our world, which makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, but it could use a bit more. I mean, I'm a high fantasy, epic fantasy guy, so I love me world building.
Okay. Where did you feel like it was deficient?
Ooh, there's a lot. Of, I think maybe a third of the movie could use just a bit more.
So is there anything like you could pinpoint specifically where you wanted more, or just overall vibe? You just felt like it needed something.
Overall vibe. Like we are told that this been going on for years, but how many years? How long has this train ran from the kids' houses to the North Pole?
Yeah. I liked that it was built off of the basic world, because that meant you could focus on the myth of the train. You didn't have to explain what a road or a car or modernity was, because that was something we already understood. So you could just build on the new and layer on top of it. I like that about kind of contemporary world fiction, and so you could focus on the waiters that could somehow drop the tablecloth, and there's a table that wasn't there before that just magically floats, right? Like, or they're shooting the hot chocolate into the air and it somehow doesn't miss the cup. Like, you could do that because you didn't have to explain the real world, because we knew. So I thought the world building was pretty well done. I think sometimes you can overdo it, but I get, as someone who likes high fantasy, why you would always want more. I also don't mind a lot of details, so I'm not opposed to more, but I do feel like they gave you just enough. It would have been interesting to see, maybe a follow-up. What happened with, did his sister ever get to go on that? Did he remember the people when he got home that he was on this ride with? Did he, see Billy around town and be like, oh, hey, it's Billy, right? Like, did he run into those people ever again and know it was them?
Yeah, but do they remember him?
That's the other question. And if they stop believing, will they stop remembering him? At that point, like, it's just an interesting, like, they never really talk about it. It's just a one and done kind of thing. In gaming terms, would call that, I guess, a one shot. But
Yeah,
I kind of want to know what happens next.
yeah, but with some stories, they're more meant for one shot than a full series. In some series, if you force it too much, you break the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I always want more. I haven't seen a short story I couldn't imagine 12 books out of.
True that.
It is an addiction, and I probably should go to a 12-step group for it.
Yeah,
So we talked about the characters. We talked about the world building. Did you have a favorite character overall, other than just the train, Vincent?
the train and the conductor and the engineer were my top favorites of the whole film.
What about you, Bill? I'm gonna throw in a new one. I did like the elf general or lieutenant or whatever he was. He's like, it's Christmas. The kid said he didn't do it. Let's just take his word for it. We'll check him twice next year. When he put gum or whatever it is into his sister's hair, and they're like listing up all the things he had done the year before. Like, he put whatever. It was a playoff. I don't know if you know that song, "I'm Getting Nothing for Christmas." It's a Christmas song about a kid who's like so bad he's not getting anything for Christmas, and it lists, like, he put a plug in the a wooden nickel in the candy slot because you used that and you got the candy you didn't pay for because you put wood. And you should listen to the song. I'll throw that in there in the show notes for you, dear listener.
Reference to Dennis the Menace. I probably aged myself that.
Yeah. That worked too. But yeah, I liked that they played onto that. But I really did like the military guy with the little Napoleon hat that was just standing there surveying the battlefield, so to speak. I like the pneumatic tubes like you'd see at a bank that they were using to, like, just shoot themselves all over.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that this laboratory for Santa was definitely not OSHA approved. Like, they were totally all over these places where, like, they could have just fallen to their deaths on these slides or going over these tracks where there's just, like, infinite falls down below.
OSHA has no power over claws.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to throw the
I say as well.
this is the poster. Come on. I'm going to load that up. But yeah, the some of the things that they did, I like that the town was just so small that it was very obvious that it was for the elves, because even the kids were too big for it. But this is one of the movie posters. This was designed to look like the book too. This is from one of the early DVD wraps. But would that make you want to go see the movie if you saw that as a poster?
Probably.
Yeah,
I don't think that does anything to catch it for me. It probably wouldn't. I do think an retrospect, having seen it, it does capture the vibe.
Yeah,
I agree with that. I like this art a little bit better. Where you got a little bit closer up and you could see all the snow. It's the same sort of scene, but you just spread it out a little better. I really thought that was more compelling. But you know, you want the vertical for obviously for posters. So yeah, the modern posters don't do like they used to, where they, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, posters were an actual thing they'd used to get people to go to the movies. And now it's almost like an afterthought if you even get one. As far as design perspective, because nobody really, I mean, you don't really put those up anymore. So,
Aging yourself, are you there?
what's that?
Aging yourself, aren't you?
Maybe just a little bit. Maybe. Okay. So, did you see any holes in the plot, or are you guys satisfied with the storytelling?
I was satisfied. It's a simple story, so it did its job.
Okay. What about you, Bill? I was satisfied. I thought it did what it was supposed to, which was the story of this kid's rediscovering his faith, in this case, Christmas. But, you know, you could apply it to larger religious messages if you so desired.
And I do so desire. Thank you.
You're welcome. I did that for you. That was just for you, buddy.
I feel special. In terms of the plot, honestly, I didn't even know Zemeckis was the director on this, but I think that kind of explains a couple things for me, because it really is there are no plot holes really I can think of, at least none that are glaring out at me. I think my only major contention with this film, and this isn't necessarily the film's fault because this was still in sort of the early days of motion capture technology, and Zemeckis was sort of playing around with that technology.
Actually, I think it was the best
the
mocap film.
Really, for me, it's the animation that doesn't hold up all that well. That's the only contention I'd raise against this movie, is that there are points where, you know, faces don't kind of delve into the uncanny valley, but if you're actually sitting down and watching the movie, it's not something that bothers you, because, you know, it's not like Superman's face in Justice League where it's one character that looks like that. Here it's like everyone has that same sort of animation style on them. Some of the movements look a bit awkward. I wasn't a fan of the hot chocolate dance. I don't think that looked all that great. But in terms of the plot was, it was simple. It was solid. I would point to this next time someone says that, you know, children's movies or movies for families, you don't need to put that much thought into them. That no, you should, you can. Yeah. I think kids deserve quality storytelling. This is my opinion. Just saying.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think of the mocap movies, it did the best out of all of them, and there were some that didn't do it any well at all. Like, was it Mars Need Moms? I think that one.
No,
that genre.
Ooh, I remember that one. That one was a trip.
It was. Okay. So what did you think of the cinematography, Vincent? Bill mentioned that he didn't think some of the stop motion aged well. What did you think of it?
Motion capture.
What did I said? Stop motion. That was the Rudolph. Motion capture. Excuse me.
Different kind of animation.
Yeah. Well, cinematography, it did well in some spots, and not as well in others, where you can tell the age of the animation. There were quite a few spots that look well enough, or might be better than some of the stuff that comes out nowadays.
That's true. The bar nowadays is pretty low, so
the bars in HE double hockey sticks.
Yeah, I will say, as far as the stop motion, you're right. There are parts where it didn't age well, Bill. I can see what you're talking about. As far as the cinematography is where they chose to focus on what, as far as following the characters, I thought that the director did an excellent job choosing the shots that they created. Everything from, where they focus, like the example is when they're in that pneumatic tube, and instead of showing the tube going, you look at it from their view outward, and it's like, oh my god, you see all the crazy, and then it flips the camera and you're looking at their view where their like faces are like pressed back from the centrifugal force, and like, the skin's flapping like you'd see if they were the huge wind or whatever. Like, so the way they chose to focus the camera, I thought at every step of the way that was excellently done. Like, obviously it's not an actual camera because it was graphically done, but
well, and again, Zemeckis is he's known for a reason. I mean, just look at Back to the Future, and yeah, dude knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody related to him, either his wife or daughter, Leslie, was one of the voice actors.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? No, I didn't know that.
I saw her in the credits, but it didn't say who she was, who she voiced. Maybe Sarah, the little sister. I can't remember, but it just had her listed in the credits. So, okay. What were your thoughts overall, Bill?
Well, I pretty much touched on that earlier. Like, I'm not going to rush out and buy it for myself. If I were to have kids, or if I thought that it might be something nice for my nieces or nephews to see, I'd probably get it then. Granted, I still think it would be nice for them, but I try not to get them things that are specifically targeted and meant to be seen at a specific point in the year. But no, this is a solid movie. I think it would absolutely be enjoyed by younger audiences. I think older audiences could also possibly get something out of it. And as I mentioned before, it's a story about faith. I think I did not mention this on any of the reviews here. And now that it's really just the three of us, because JR, you know how quiet I can sometimes be.
It's cool.
I think Christmas is a great time. I need a moment to think about how I want to word this. Okay, I know how I want to word this. Santa is important. The Santa belief is important, not just for kids, but for the adults. For the adults to recapture that wonder, and for the kids to give them that wonder. And I think on another level, if done right, I think it can prepare people for faith. And I am absolutely coming at this from a very strong religious perspective.
Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster?
Church the Force?
Not quite, but and just the story, I think it's a solid way to show that you or at least show kids that you may struggle, but something that's true or higher than yourself, because kids are always going to. I just remembered this is a show for all audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Are we at risk of ruining the magic for the kids?
We'll trust the parents' judgment. Go for it.
Yeah, the trust parents.
Eventually, the kids will age out of it. That is inevitable. It always happens. But I think the foundation that belief in Santa provides is useful later. And while I'm looking at it mostly from a religious perspective, I think it could possibly be useful for other things as well. Maybe an overall belief that there might still be some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. But yeah, absolutely something that I would recommend to families and people who have kids. Like, get it for the kids. I think it's a good watch for them. I think it is a decent enough watch for adults. As an adult, you may struggle with the animation a little bit, like I did. But end of the day, if your biggest complaint is how something looks, then I think it's a pretty good something, in my opinion.
Okay. What about you, Vincent?
I agree wholeheartedly with Bill on many points. The world has gone darker, and well, we could use a little bit of wonder. Yeah, I would get the film if I had kids or want to reconnect with family that we haven't talked to in ages, and to restore my own sense of wonder since I work in retail, and that's the fastest way to restore the Christmas spirit. So I thought
Okay.
I could use the wonder as myself.
As the doctor once said, there's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
Yeah, I will say that's the one thing that makes Christmas hard, or the holiday season hard, is it tends to bring out the worst in people. It makes it a tough time of year outside of anything else. So I get that. Overall, I like the movie. I remember fondly watching it when my kids were little with them. So revisiting that was, bittersweet because, obviously my kids are getting older now. So as far as that goes, I think it's a great family movie. Definitely worth keeping in your DVD collection for when you have kids of the right age. Highly recommend it. So overall, I thought that was great. So, Bill, what are you working on now, and how might we stalk you on the wild interwebs as we wrap this puppy up?
Well, I have the Zorn pulp, always working on that. And you can find that at Zulu Omega Romeo November Echo.substack.com. And beyond that, I have 2 other books in the works. Real quick, before I forget, after a bit of a delay, I'm going to, by the time this is out, I hope to have the latest entry of the Zorn series out, ready to be read. So go read it this Christmas. Is this airing after Christmas? Read it
before.
On the excellent. Read this. Read it on Christmas before you even go see your family or deal with your kids. And then I've also got, like I said, two other things in the works. And in terms of where to find me, Substack, as mentioned, and also I am on the bastion of intellectualism known as X. And yeah, I'm easy to find. If you can see my name, you can you're not going to find anyone else with a name like that. And another way to find me is my username there, Wilder396, spelt with a Y.
All right. And what about you, Vincent? Where might we find you online, and what are you working on?
Well, you probably can find me mostly on Reddit or Discord, or maybe sometimes Facebook. But I like to keep to myself most of the time. But what you can find on Amazon, if you want in the mood have a hankering for good old classic epic fantasy, check out the Dreamweaver Legacy. We have one book out now, and we have the second book coming out in 5 days, 10 days, 10 days for book 2. And for Raw Guard, I have a something a bit more modern coming out called a time of enchantment, a touch of enchantment.
Okay. And all of that will be linked in the show notes, dear listener. We've had some of Royal Guard people on before. So they do Harem Lit RPG, Reverse Harem, Game Lit, and many versions where they've got Portal Fantasy to Game Worlds. They've got various names for it, but it's all the same cool game mechanics in a fantasy world. They tell lots of that as well. So you should check them out. They do some pretty awesome sauce audiobooks. So I enjoy, and they do a lot of dual cast narration. So you got one main narrator, and then, you know, if it's a main male character, they'll have a male narrator, and then females that will a female narrator that will voice the female parts, or vice versa, which I enjoy. So this is the part where I remind you, dear listener, to please be kind and speak your mind on the reviewing platforms. Your reviews help the right readers find the right books. It really does make a difference. So do your part, people. It's a symbiotic relationship between readers and creators. You could find us on our Linktree, linktr.ee, Linktree/Blasters and Blades Podcast. Again, Linktree/Blasters and Blades Podcast, where we link to all the things: the BitChute, the Rumble, the YouTube, the TikTok, the Twitters. We've got our Spotify, our Discord, our Blasters and Blades Facebook page and Facebook group. You can email us at blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. Again, blastersandbladespodcast@gmail.com. For professional purposes only, people. Save Shenanigans from Stabby over there on the Instagram, the Twitter, and the email. You can support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Again, buymeacoffee.com/author J.R. Handley. Be sure to put the comment section that is for the podcast. And I promise I will keep my co-hosts duly caffeinated. They will drink that coffee brand coffee till they get high on their own supply. If you want some of that coffee brand coffee, the link is in the show note. The discount code is podcast grunts. You get 10% off. We get a little bit of a kickback. It's a win-win, people. And with that, I would like to thank you for spending some of your precious time with us. For my crazy co-host, I am J.R. Handley, and this was the Blasters and Blades Podcast. We'll be back next week at the same time, where we'll indulge our love of nerd culture, cheesy jokes, and all things that go boom. And with that, we're going to hit the end button. Thank you for coming on, Bill, Vincent. We hope everybody in the listening audience at home has a Merry Christmas. At the time of airing this episode, it is literally 4 days. So if you haven't done your Christmas shopping yet, you're almost out of time. So listen to us while you shop, I guess, because it's the 21st when you're listening. Do your part. And with that, enjoy your family. You don't get this time back. And go make some memories. Boom.